Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina, and today's video, I'm gonna be making over this lonely corner in my dining room. I have a really cute table that I've thrifted, and I'm gonna show you a really easy way to update your old furniture or something you might find at the thrift store and make it look really fresh and beautiful without a lot of work. I'm also gonna be heading to the thrift store to see what I can find to style my table to keep this project under budget. So let's get started and bring some life to this little cozy corner in my dining room. I got this table for free a long time ago from Facebook Marketplace. One of my friends dropped it off for me, and it is the perfect little table to show you a trick that you can do to restore this without having to sand or strip the original finish back. And no, I am not going to use paint today. I'm also going to show you a quick little trick to replace missing rope trim like this, and I'll be using Restor-A-Finish to bring this table back to life. It is so easy to use. You guys are going to love this. Before I get started on the Restor-A-Finish, I need to clean my table off. I'm just using some water and vinegar to remove any dust, dirt, or grime that this has on it. You always want to have a clean surface before you apply your Restor-A-Finish. The leftover water and rag always tell how dirty your furniture is. Clean water, clean rag, and we're gonna rinse it. Now I've got a clean cloth and I'm gonna dry it off. To repair this trim, I'm gonna use some wood putty. I'm gonna try to get it into this little rope shape, and then I'll go in there and carve these little details in there. This is a two-part epoxy, so when I mix it together, it will be activated. I'll be able to play with it and mold it to the shape that I want, and then it will dry in about an hour. I use this putty a lot for repairs, but I've never used it for trim before, and it worked pretty well. I couldn't get this as thin as I wanted it to without it falling off, but I think it's gonna do well enough for a DIY. Once I got my rope in place, I just grabbed my tape measure to see where these little indentations went, grabbed a screwdriver, and made my notches. Not too shabby, and once this dries, I'll be able to paint it, and I think from far away, you're really not gonna notice. I have both of my trim pieces repaired. This takes about an hour to dry, so I'm gonna go inside and drink my AG1. All right, friends, 2025 is in full swing, and if you're anything like me, you probably started out the year with some big goals. Now, maybe you've been crushing them, or maybe life has happened a little bit along the way. No matter where you're at, there is no perfect time to start taking care of yourself. There's just right now, and for me, that is starting every day with AG1. So what's so great about AG1? It is packed with vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, and superfoods. And all that good stuff is supporting my gut health. It's giving me energy, immune defense, and even a healthy mood. We are so busy with work and school and kids' activities. It's really hard to plan and shop for that balanced diet every single day. But with just one scoop of AG1s, I can feel better knowing I'm getting the vitamins, I'm getting the minerals that are helping cover those nutritional gaps. And the best part, it actually tastes good. It's got this light, sweet flavor from pineapple and vanilla. I love it over ice. And if you're on the go, they have these little travel packs that are a lifesaver. No excuses, just shake and sip. Visit my link or scan the QR code to subscribe and save $20 off your first subscription of AG1. Cheers to feeling good in 2025, and thanks to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. The trim is dry, but I'm gonna leave that and paint that after we use the Restor-A-Finish on the whole table. This is a quick and easy way to revive antiques that have these scratches, the watermarks on them, the heat rings. It's not gonna be totally perfect, but you're gonna be amazed how much better this looks without having to strip and sand and refinish the entire thing. I have used this product before, and you guys are going to be shocked by the results, and it is so easy to use. All you need to do is grab a soft cloth and get a little bit of the Restor-A-Finish on there, and I'm simply wiping it back and forth, and just look at the magic that is happening. Restor-A-Finish is pretty unique. It is a finish penetrating formula that restores the original color and the luster of wood that has previously been finished and sealed. It blends out those minor scratches and blemishes, and it also repairs those white heat rings, watermarks, color fade, oxidation, and even smoke damage. You want to use superfine steel wool. This is quadruple zero when you have those really severe scratches and white rings. And when you're applying it, you want to rub with the grain of the wood. After you get done working this into your section, you want to grab a clean cloth and wipe away any of the excess. You don't want that to set and puddle up on the furniture. This product is flammable, so make sure you're reading all your safety information and instructions on the can. And if you thought that top was bad, just look at this leg. It looks terrible, but the Restor-A-Finish really went to work on here. I was so impressed what this looked like after I put this on. It comes in a lot of different colors, so you just need to pick the one that works best for your project. I could tell with these red undertones that mahogany was going to be my best match. If you're not sure what kind of wood you're dealing with, a good idea is to get a really close picture where you can see the grain, and then you can put that into Google and use an image search and find out what you're working with. This process was so fast, it only took me about 15 minutes to cover the whole table with the Restor-A-Finish. I cannot imagine having to sand everything down, especially with all these details and curves. That would have taken weeks and weeks, and not to mention, once you got done sanding, you would still have to stain it and then seal it. I just can't imagine. That would be so much work. And I think here you're keeping the integrity of the original stain and the original finish and just adding some luster to it. And now that I have a good idea of what the color of the table is going to look like with the Restor-A-Finish on it, I grabbed some stain to paint my trim. This is a water-based stain, so it's going to dry really quickly so I can finish the rest of the top. And it does have a little bit of red in it, so I think this is going to be a pretty good match. Now, I am not a professional restorer, but I want to be able to empower you that you don't have to be a professional restorer to DIY things and make them look better. This may not be perfect, but it is going to be close enough, especially when people are just looking at it from across the room. While that trim dries, I'm going to go around and do the rest of the body of the table. This is completely dry. You want to let it dry for at least 30 minutes. Mine has been sitting for a few hours because we did school pickup and dinner. This feed and wax is a blend of beeswax, carnauba wax, and orange oil. It also has mineral oil in it. That's why it spreads so easily. It smells really great. Again, make sure you read all the safety information and you're following the manufacturer's guidelines for this product, but it is really easy to use. You just want to have a soft cloth, get a little bit on there, and you're just going to rub it into the wood. This is what Howard recommends as a follow-up to the Restor-A-Finish. I personally have just used other natural waxes that I have, but I am going to just say I'm a big fan of this one. I don't know what makes it different about other ones that I've used. Maybe it's the mineral oil, but this really did a great job of accentuating all the repairs that I did with the Restor-A-Finish. It really made the wood shine and look really rich and deep, and it also is going to protect this finish that I just put on here. The feed and wax needs to set on here for 20 minutes and then I'll be able to come back in and wipe off the excess. So while this is drying, I am going to add some gilding wax to my hardware. I'm going to use some gold gilding wax on the hardware as well as the clawed feet. Now I could clean them up with some vinegar or some barkeeper's friend, but I thought it was going to be pretty hard to clean the claw feet, so this is going to be a lot easier. I'm using a dry brushing technique with the gilding wax. I don't have a ton of product on my brush and I am just lightly feathering it over the surface so it's just hitting up the details and ridges. This is going to give it more of an authentic look and still keep the old rustic charm of the table. And then I'm going to do the same process on these clawed feet. These really came to life when I was using that gilding wax. And again, I'm using it very, very sparingly. I hardly have any product on my brush. Once I was done with the feet, I was ready to buff the table for its final step. I just have a clean cloth and I'm removing any of that excess feet and wax. I can't believe how much I was able to accomplish in one day on this little drum table. Okay, I have bad news for you. We had a snowstorm last night, and I know what you're thinking, Christina, that doesn't look like a lot of snow, but I live in Tennessee, and this is a ton of snow for us, so school is closed, the stores will be closed, there is no thrifting today. So my idea, I'm gonna hunt around my house and thrift for things that I already have to style my table. Now that I've let the table dry overnight, it is ready to bring inside. So I'm just adding my hardware because the gilding wax is dry as well. I decided to grab items around my house that I previously thrifted so we can still keep this under budget for you. This is a vase that I made 2 years ago from a glass vase that I found at the thrift store. I got this huge vase for $6, coated it with some chalk paint, made a paste to go on top to give it some texture, and added some brown paint for some depth. This is still holding up 2 years later, and I love its large shape. A vase like this would usually go for around $50 to $80. And I don't have any thrifted stems, but these ones are from Walmart and very affordable. These are 2 bunches of rice stems totaling $11. Next up, I'm gonna add some books that I found at the thrift store for about $2 a piece. I love finding large books like this at the thrift store, but this color is not going to go with a lot of people's color scheme, and you don't really necessarily want to display urology books. So I used some paint on these to cover them up and make them more neutral, and they've held up really well too. The last item I grabbed for this table is this gold bowl. I originally got this at Goodwill for $4, and while I like the shape, I didn't like the silver look, so I did my little hack where I paint it black, add gilding wax, and it looks like a beautiful brushed brass bowl. And this project is done. My once boring dining room corner is now all styled up. Bringing new life to this table was so easy and quick, and it was fun to grab things from around the house to style it. Let's appreciate the before on this table and what it looks like after using Restor-A-Finish. I mean, these results are just amazing. And to think I achieved these results in one day, all without sanding, stripping, refinishing, restaining, resealing. I think this product is really a miracle. I love the way this project turned out. This boring corner in my dining room is now cozy and beautiful. It was so simple making over this table, and I love the vintage vibes that it's bringing into my dining room. I still owe you a trip to the thrift store to look for decor, so hopefully the snow will melt soon and I can take you on a thrifting trip with me. Thanks for joining me for today's video. I will be back with another project soon, and I'll see you then.